Hi. You don't know me a lot about me. I'm brand new to YouTube, even though I've been around for a lot of years. I've had a channel since like 2007 or something like that. Actually before, but 2007 was the last time I posted a video to YouTube. It was the first and last time that I did. This is the second video I've ever posted, and it's about Brangelina and Perez Hilton. I thought I came up with that term. That's where you got the term from me. I really think so, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, I grappled over whether to make this video, but you know, it's about the kids. It's all about the kids. Brad made that clear. So I have to speak out finally. It's been a lot of years that I have remained silent. All the way back in 1994, Brad Pitt and I got married on June 18th, 1994. It was his first marriage. It was, let me see, it was my one, if we count Tom Cruise, you know, Tom Cruise and I, he was 13, I was 9. You know, a lot of people wouldn't count that. Not in our American society, we wouldn't count it. But okay, let's count it though. Okay, Tom Cruise, Michael Jackson on my 18th birthday. Oh, I'm forgetting so many others too, you know. And I don't know if I want to say their names right now. There's somebody in England I married. I married my fathers, who I won't name right now. I mean, they married me to everybody because I have money that I still haven't accessed to this moment, to this date. I still haven't accessed, and today is September 24th, Saturday. It's about 11:20 a.m. here in Augusta, Georgia. I almost said Atlanta. Oh my God. No, I do not live in Atlanta. I'm a proud resident of Augusta, Georgia. Anyway, in case I didn't mention it, my name is Claire Elisabeth Elliott. But, you know, I know that's a really long name. And I just don't want to be known as Claire Elliott anymore. You know, when I was a victim, that I you know, that was my name, Claire Elliott, and I'm not a victim anymore. So I want to be known as Claire Elisabeth Elliott. That is my full legal maiden name. Okay? But for short, you can call me C-E-E, you know, my initials, or you can call me Claire, you know. But, you know, C is maybe a way you can remember my full name, and it's Claire Elizabeth with an S. Elizabeth with an S. And Elliott with 2 L's, 2 T's. Okay? And Claire, C-L-A-I-R-E. Okay? You got that? Anyway, so like I said, I married Brad Pitt secretly on June 18th, 1994. It was exactly 1 week after I married Ron Goldman, the guy who was brutally murdered along with Nicole Brown Simpson. That's another story I won't get into, but he was murdered, and so they had to marry me to somebody else, and they married me to Brad. You might ask at this point, why Brad? Well, I co-wrote a lot of the movies he starred in, okay? And I also am his genetic mother. He has a real mother, okay? I didn't raise him, and I didn't give birth to him. His mother did. The mother everybody knows. But I am his genetic mother. And she knows this. Brad knows this. And everybody's okay with this. Okay? I guess technically you could refer to his mother, who is his real mother. I didn't raise him. She did. You could refer to her as a surrogate mother. She's a surrogate mother. I mean, physically, she gave birth to a baby who was not her biological mother. I mean, biological child. I know she's related to Brad. She had to be to give birth to him. And well, anyway, so that's what happened on June 18th, 1994. And we've conceived children together. Okay, now, mind you, I was not conscious, I mean, quote unquote conscious, when I conceived these babies. Okay. Shiloh was conceived when I was 16 and Brad was 18. It was his 18th birthday or thereabouts, somewhere in there. It was when he was turning 18. It might not have been the exact day, but it was in that area of time. And I lived in Princeton, New Jersey, and he was brought to my house. And because I wasn't a slut, I didn't sleep around, I'm not a prostitute, they drugged me with date rape drugs so that I would, and he lost his virginity that day, I understand. And I conceived a baby that is now named Shiloh. Shiloh Nouvelle Jolie Pitt. Sometime after I married him in 1994, I believe it was after we got married. Now, it could have been before, but I don't know. I think it was July of 1994 because, I was pregnant with Ron's baby in June. So, June was taken and Brad got July. And that's when the twins, Vivian and Knox, were born. I mean, not born, conceived. I carried them for almost a month or thereabouts, roughly a month. And they were safely removed from my uterus and frozen until the time when another woman could be implanted with them. And that other woman, as we all know, is Angelina Jolie. Now, Angelina Jolie would not have been selected to be Brad's significant other, wife, if she wasn't related to me as well. They really like to bring my children together, brothers and sisters together. I don't know if they're gay, brother and brother and sister and sister, They like my children getting together, and then they give my children my babies. And because, my daughters cannot conceive naturally. They're all completely sterile. That includes Angelina Jolie. She has always been completely sterile. Okay, I'll have you know. And that is why we implant them with my babies. All my embryos, whether naturally conceived or created with secret cloning techniques, using my DNA. I'm trying to make this as brief as possible, but it's a very long story and it involves a lot of details and a lot of people. So forgive me, it's hard to sum it all up in one little video for you, but I'm trying. So anyway, I'm Brad's wife. I'm Brad's legal wife, okay, because I'm the first one he married, and we're still married, even though he married a couple other people. I am the biological, well, I guess you would say nowadays, genetic mother of all all 6 children, actually. Yes, I was talking about the ones he and I conceived, but I'm the mother of all of them. They were all actually conceived by way of date rape drugs. All of them, they're all naturally conceived, and the naturally conceived babies in mine are more valuable than the ones created by way of secret cloning techniques from my DNA. Okay, I'm going to stop right now because I'm going to be interrupted and I just want to stop. I'll be right back. Okay, I just watched what I recorded and I look really fat. I mean, I was watching myself as I was recording it. I mean, I knew what I looked like, but, you know, I look really bad. I don't wear any makeup, okay? And I do that intentionally. I used to wear a lot of makeup when I was younger. Don't anymore. I used to be really thin, too. Well, not as skinny as, like, Angelina Jolie or anything, but I was very thin most of my life. It's only been in the last decade or so that I've been obese. And it's not forever, believe me. I will lose this weight. Another video, I won't get into it in this video, but I just wanted to say, I know I'm fat. I know I look nothing like Brad, and I look nothing like Angelina Jolie. I know my children don't look completely like me. I'm heavy right now, so you don't really see the bone structure in my face, and you know, it's not as obvious. I don't tan my skin or lighten my hair, you know, that would make me look a little more like my children. When I was younger, I looked a lot more like them. But yeah, you know, as far as you know, I'm just some random girl here on YouTube making wild, outrageous claims that sound totally insane. And I do understand that's how it appears because, you know, people don't live lives like this. I mean, this doesn't happen. You know, the likelihood of this being for real and the truth is like far more unlikely than it being the case that I am insane or am lying. You could also say that, I guess, right? But I'm not lying. And I think that's very clear and obvious to anyone who knows me, who is maybe even watching this. I mean, I think it's clear that I'm not lying. And I think it's also very obvious from watching this and or even if you care to know me in a true way, I think it's very obvious that I'm not insane either. You know, a lot of people like to throw around the word schizophrenic here on the internet, you know. That's a very serious word. And, you know, I've never been diagnosed with schizophrenia in my life. And, you know, there are certain symptoms that are very clear and obvious when you're schizophrenic. And you can't control the way you speak or the way you write. You know, I've never had hallucinations. I've never heard voices, you know. Everybody could say, well, these are delusions and they're grand delusions. But that doesn't make me a schizophrenic. Even if they were delusions, and they're not. They're not delusions, people. They're not. And, you know, I was born into the CIA, okay? I'm an ex-CIA sex slave. And the CIA does not want this truth to be told. You know, the CIA, you know, in the CIA, they keep secrets. You know this, right? I mean, it's a secret community. This is why my marriage to Brad Pitt is secret. This is why my marriage to Tom Cruise is secret. That's why my marriage to Michael Jackson was secret. All of it was secret. And, you know, and Prince, by the way, he's another husband of mine. Oh, and there are others. But let's just focus on the celebrities at the moment. But anyway, getting back to everything, I am here to tell you that Brad, and all of you know this, everybody knew this before anything happened, you know, before Angelina filed for divorce. Brad is a really good guy. I grew up with him around me in high school. I mean, he wasn't, you know, Brad Pitt did not go to my high school, but he had alternate personas that he portrayed at different times throughout my life, and he was always around me. And yes, he did attend high school under a different name with a different face and everything. So, you know, he wasn't Brad Pitt, but he did go to high school with me. He was best friends with one of my boyfriends in high school, my first boyfriend in high school, actually. And you know, he's always been around. We grew up together, you could say. I mean, no, I'm not from Missouri, but wherever I was, he managed to somehow make an appearance, even if it was a brief appearance. And he's in my life right now, but I don't want to get into that right now. Anyway, so Brad is a good guy, and he wants the best for himself and his family, his kids in particular. That is like the number one concern in his life, and I think all of us know that and have observed that over the years. But Angelina Jolie, you know, I don't know her. I admit, I do not know her. I planned her. I know about her. I've heard about her, and I know all about her. But I do not believe I have ever met her. Okay? I do not believe I have. So I am speaking from afar. I'm not personal friends with with her. So I am saying from what I know from afar, from what people have informed me. This is valid information given to me through the networks of the CIA networks. Okay? She is not a good person. What I am about to say is going to be very shocking, but it is true as far as I know, okay? And I know in a court of law this would never stand up because it's considered hearsay, okay? This is information I was given secretly, and one day I was supposed to let everyone know this information. I need to publicly release this information, declassify it, so to speak, so that Brad can save his children. It is Angelina Jolie who is the child abuser, not Brad. This is why she so eagerly, so quickly, so harshly filed for divorce like she did in response to what he set up on Wednesday, September 14th. That was set up, okay? This divorce has been a long time coming, and I don't know if Maddox was in on it or not, okay? I don't know. But you have to admit that, you know, the reports I heard were that Maddox was defending his mother against Brad. You know, something happened. Brad was yelling at Angelina, and he was inebriated, drunk, whatever, and Maddox stepped up and defended his mother. And, you know, you have to admit that there's something a little more there than just a mother-son relationship. I'm not saying that Maddox did anything wrong at all. All I'm saying is that when a mother is inappropriate with her son for a very long period of time, which I have heard is the case with all 6 of her children. So it's not just Maddox, but I'm focusing on Maddox right now. When a mother does that, she creates an inappropriate relationship with her son. And her son acts like he's in the relationship with her, you know, in the marriage with her, instead of Brad. You know, I mean, when a boy does something like that, it's because something is activated that shouldn't be activated. You know, there's something, you know, I'm just pointing that out. You know, that it's not natural for a child at the age of 15 to so vigorously defend his mother against his father. I mean, I know Brad was not beating Angelina. We all know that. He was verbally abusive, yes, that seems to be the case. I wasn't there, and neither were any of us, but it appears that might have been what happened. And I think he set it up, and I think Maddox might have cooperated, because all of those children have been abused their whole life by Angelina Jolie. I was told that when Brad lived in Malibu, when, you know, when Angelina and him first got together. Okay, all right. Okay, that was my husband, Dean. Grandpa Dean. He has his own YouTube channel now, so check it out. He was very concerned about me making this video, and he's always interrupting me, and it's really hard for me to get anything done around here. But anyway, he just left. He wanted to let me know that a dress he ordered from France for me is not arriving like he expected. But anyway, that's besides the point. So, okay. Where was I? So, if we want to look for any kind of evidence, I mean, of course, you know, Angelina does not want us to see any evidence, but, you know, all you have to do is look at all her videos with Maddox and all the photos with Maddox, and you, if you've ever been sexually abused yourself or have been around it in any way, shape, or form, you can see there's something just, I mean, I'm not saying that that's the proof I have. I was told what I'm about to tell you, okay? But I'm just offering this as, like, backup, as support for what, you know, as evidence, like something that supports what I'm saying, okay? I mean, I remember once she said in an interview that something about how Maddox was her man or something like that, and the person interviewing her said, he's your child or something like that, but she was like talking about Maddox like he was some romantic man in her life or something, just a tad, you know, just, it was just the feeling of it and the way she put it. It was inappropriate, you know, for a mother to talk about a son that way. Just want to point that out. It's out there, and, you know, all you have to do is look at it, you know, it's out there somewhere. But anyway, okay, what I'm about to tell you is what I was told back in 1994. Now, okay, I know, 1994, Brad didn't even know Angelina Jolie, right? I mean, I knew of Angelina Jolie, believe me, I did, because I helped plan her whole career, and when I was a child, all that. But she wasn't, I mean, I don't remember her, she wasn't a star yet, so I didn't even know of her at that point, you know, and, you know, and of course I didn't remember anything like that from my childhood at that point in time in 1994. So anyway, Anyway, when Brad was first going out with Angelina, or first getting together with her, whatever it was that they were doing in 2005, after Jennifer Aniston filed for divorce, he had a secret camera camera system put in his house in Malibu. He did. He had it at some point, probably before Angelina ever started living there with him, with the kids. And Angelina didn't know about it. He didn't, I guess somebody had I think it was probably Ross who recommended to him to do that, and he did. And, he didn't think anything of it. And he just saw it as a good safety feature for his life with his kids and his family, and and I think the way it was told to me, and I know this is all the way back in 1994, before they ever, Angelina was ever in the picture, but this was all planned so that I could come forward and expose the truth, and that's what I'm doing right now. So, okay. I was told, and the thing about Ross is that he can go forward in time. I know that's, I know time travel sounds pretty bizarre. It's like, that's just science fiction, Claire. That's your imagination. You're delusional. But no, time travel is real, and it's just secret. Okay, they keep these things a secret. They're not going to tell you about it because I don't know why they don't want to tell you about it. They just want all of it for themselves. I guess for some reason they think that, I guess there's more money to be made by keeping it a secret. Keeping everybody in the darkness, everybody, the general public, you can make more money off the general public if you have an advantage over them. If you have all this technology at your fingertips that the average Joe doesn't have. And so that gives you an advantage, and then you can make a lot more money and get away with things and do what you want in the world, right? I mean, that's the only reason I can think of to keep all this a secret. So anyway, getting back to Brad and his house in Malibu, which I guess he was very happy to get rid of not so long ago. So he put this, this camera system, this surveillance system, I guess it's called, in his house, not thinking about it, just like, okay, yeah, that's a good idea. Okay, I'll do it. And then one day, after Angelina had been living with him for a while with the kid, I don't know, I guess it was just Maddox and Zahara at that point, he happened to look at the tape. I don't know how it happened. I don't know all the details. I wasn't there. This is what Ross told me. And he couldn't believe it. It was like he was flabbergasted. He like almost died when he saw what Angelina did with his children. I don't know if they were his children yet. And he was like, oh my God. So you can understand his drive to make those children his children. You can understand. He wanted to save them. He knew that if he left Angelina and said, oh, sorry, babe, can't handle it, I'm done with you, bye, and just, he'd be saying goodbye to those poor children who were going to be abused by her. And he knew she was planning on adopting all these other kids from all around the world. That was her dream. So he had to do something. He had to marry her. But she didn't want to get married. She wanted to collect children all over the world and be in control. And I guess maybe she equated marriage with a lack of control. And so she didn't. So he had to somehow trick her into marrying him some way, somehow. And so that he could, and he needed to adopt the children, of course. And of course, and it would help to have some natural children, some biological children as well. Or what everybody thinks is their biological children, you know, children that she gave birth to. And, you know, it was a very huge operation trying to maneuver it so that, you know, she would take the bait and marry him. I mean, I didn't think it would ever happen. You know, it was something I thought would be a good idea, you know, considering, you know, I didn't know what I could do if he wasn't married to her. So it took him all the way until 2014. I got married to Dean right after they got married. I won't get into it, but I got married on September 5th, 2014, and that was right after they got married. So she finally, he tricked her. I mean, he probably pretended he didn't want to get married. He probably had to play it really carefully because she was tricky, you know. She's a rebel, and, you know, she wants to be in total control, and meanwhile he had to help these children through the abuse. You know, the children, the children talk to him all about it, and you know, he you know, much like I went through when I was a child. You know, I'm an ex-CIA sex slave, as I mentioned earlier. People couldn't help me either, but they couldn't protect me from the abuse. It was going to happen whether they liked it or not, because, you know, it's you against the CIA if you report something like that. You know, oh, she's a CIA sex slave, or, you know, people are raping, you know, and a network of people are using her for rape. And, you know, if you out, you know, people like that, you know, the whole CIA is on your back, and so people can't report it like a normal incident of child abuse. You know, I mean, it's a really scary situation, and you have to be really careful, you know, because people in the CIA, they kill people, all right? So to protect the children, he had to pretend that everything between him and Angelina was hunky-dory and beautiful and perfect, and he had to, you know, use all of his acting skills to put her on this pedestal, and you know, make the world and her believe that he worshipped her, you know. But but meanwhile, you know, he knew what she was doing with these children, and he couldn't do anything about it, because otherwise he'd be killed, or I don't know, they'd be in danger. I don't know the way the laws are in the CIA. His hands were tied, let's just say that much. And so the only thing he could do was be there for the kids when they needed someone to talk to and help them through it as best as he could. That's what people did for me. That's what my daddy did for me, and that's all he could do, and that's what Brad has been doing for his children. So his children are in on it, okay? They know that it's a secret and they can't talk about it. You know, they know that they're telling on their mother to their father, and, you know, they keep it a secret from Angelina, okay? So that's why I really do think that Maddox was in on this last Wednesday, the 14th. I really think he is using his acting skills that his father's helped him nurture, and they did this together as a team to out Angelina, his mother, and to get me, someone who has just bought all this equipment for YouTube, to put it in a video and talk about it in time for proceedings in the divorce. I mean, if I wait, you know, the FBI might not investigate. FBI, please conduct an investigation of Angelina, not Brad. Angelina. Angelina is trying to divert attention from herself by putting it on Brad. This is a CIA technique, all right? And she knows exactly what she's doing. She wants sole custody because she wants sole control over those children. She knows that if she has 50% custody, you know, the likelihood of those kids telling their father about what's going on in her household are pretty high. You know, when you get a divorce, that's what happens. You know, the two sides are, you know, watching for anything that's going on in the other household, and she doesn't want to deal with that. She wants total control. Okay, and she thinks she has total control, and this was her Wednesday, you know, knowing that the marriage is over and she has known it for a while. She saw Wednesday as her opportunity to put it on Brad, and Brad planned this. He, you know, he's CIA too. Okay, it is Mr. and Mrs. Smith, everyone. Okay, this is Mrs. and Mr. Smith. Yeah, Mrs. and Mr. Smith. That's good. That's really what it is. Well, no. I don't know. But yeah, they are the real Mr. and Mrs. Smith. It wasn't just a movie, folks. It's real life. So that's what she's doing. She's diverting attention away from herself, you know, accusing him of child abuse, which is totally absurd. And everybody knows it's absurd. Come on. And, you know, he himself said he doesn't like to smoke pot and stuff around the kids. He did that on purpose because he wanted her to do something like this. And yeah, okay, yes, technically he was blindsided, but not really. He was relieved when she finally did it. Okay, it was his plan for her to do that. This is the way people in the CIA operate. You know, they're really tricky. They don't do things the way everybody's supposed to do things. If you did it that way, then nothing would be a secret. You couldn't keep a secret that way. You have to, you know, be really sneaky. You gotta, like, you know, say, oh, look over there, and to get things done, you know. Oh, look over there. Yeah, it's not me, it's him, you know. I mean, you know. And that's what's going on here, folks. And I'm willing to put myself on the line here and tell it like it is. Brad can't speak. The kids can't speak. I mean, they're kids. They're not, I mean, they might be really scared. I mean, I bet she has a way of controlling that, you know. I'm sure she has somehow found a way to control them so that they're frightened to say anything. You know, she's very smart. She's my daughter, so of course she's gonna be really smart. You know, she ain't no typical broad, okay? She knows, she's not a typical movie star. She knows exactly what she's doing. And she gets off on it. She gets off on being this amazing humanitarian, fighting for people who are being sexually abused in Africa or whatever it is. I mean, she goes for the causes that are the opposite of what she's about. She does that to divert your attention away from what she's doing. See, would you ever think that a pedophile, child molester would ever champion the cause of sticking up for those innocent children and women and boys and men who are being raped in Africa or wherever in the world she's working right now? I can't, Syria, I guess it is. I can't keep track, you know. She's very, see, that's how she diverts your attention. I mean, you can't even imagine that she would ever be raping her own children if she's fighting for rape victims in Syria, or whatever she's doing. Okay, that's CIA tactic. That's what spies in the CIA do. Yeah, they're spies, like Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I mean, I don't know. I don't usually use the word spy. They're CIA operatives. Okay? The CIA is everywhere. Okay? Everybody in every profession is approached by the CIA. I mean, anybody, like when you reach a certain level of success in society, the CIA wants you. Okay? If you're like some lowly busboy or somebody who works at McDonald's, you might not be in the CIA, okay? But you might be. You'd be surprised. But typically, people in the CIA, have a responsible life. They have a career, and the CIA wants them when they have a career. That's when they target them and get them to give them information and to control them. They put them in situations and have them sign contracts where they have to do things that they wouldn't ordinarily do, so that the CIA has dirt on them that they can use against them if they have to. Like let's say, this is why Brad can't do anything, because if he does, then the CIA can say, well, you raped Claire Elisabeth Elliott to conceive your children, so we're going to tell everybody this, and then we'll ruin your career, and then you won't have your children, and I don't know. They put you in situations that you wouldn't normally be in because you want a job, or you want a movie, you want this, you want that. They study you. They know your brain, they know your psychology, and they approach you accordingly, and they give you what you want. They use it as like bait so that they get what they want, and then they have total control over you, and you're like a helpless fly in the web of the spider, which is the CIA. Okay, and this is the situation that we're dealing with here. Okay, so FBI, Child Protective Services, please investigate Angelina Jolie. She is a pedophile who has been using her children for her own perverse sexual needs for a very long time. This is why she's always dreamed of having this huge family, because she has sick fantasies that she brings to life with all 6 of her children. She's a very sick woman, and she needs to be put where she belongs, and she needs to be separated from all 6 of my children as soon as possible. And I'm the only one who can say something and do something, and that's what I'm doing. I have nothing to lose. I have no money. I have nothing. All I have is the truth. And with that, I hope I can do something. Thank you.